Welcome back to my channel. I'm Teacher Gia and we are delving into the world of computer security. Whether you're a beginner or a pro, join us to stay safe online. New here, hit subscribe. Returning, thanks for your support. Let's get started. So we're going to start with chapter 1 and we'll be talking about principles of computer security. So let's define computer security in computer science. It refers to the practice of protecting computer systems, networks, and the data they store or transmit from unauthorized access, damage, theft, disruption, or misuse. It is a multidisciplinary field that encompasses various technologies, policies, procedures, and practices aimed at safeguarding digital assets and ensuring the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of information. We have a lot of terms that are used in computer security, and we're going to be tackling each and every one of them. We have access control. Here, it's implementing mechanisms to control who can access a computer system or specific resources within it. This includes user authentication, authorization, and access permissions. We go to cryptography. Is the use of mathematical algorithms to encrypt data to protect it from unauthorized access. Cryptography is essential for secure communication and data storage. Firewalls and intrusion detection / prevention systems. A firewall is a network security device or software that filters incoming and outgoing network traffic based on a set of predetermined security rules. Firewalls act as barriers between a trusted network and potential threats from the internet, that is, untrusted external networks. Intrusion detection and prevention systems monitor network traffic for suspicious activities and block or alert administrators to potential threats. Intrusion Detection System (IDS) is a system that monitors network traffic or system activities to detect and alert administrators about suspicious or unauthorized activities that may indicate a security breach. On the other hand, Intrusion Prevention System is an advanced security system that not only detects but also takes automated actions to block or mitigate security threats when they are detected. Authentication is a process of verifying the identity of a user, device, or system before granting access to resources. Common methods include passwords, biometrics, and two-factor authentication. Authorization is a process of determining what actions or resources a user, device, or system is permitted to access or perform after successful authentication. Malware, malicious software designed to harm, infect, or compromise computer systems. Common types of malwares include viruses, worms, trojans, ransomware, and spyware. Encryption is a process of converting plain text data into ciphertext to protect it from unauthorized access. Encryption uses algorithms and cryptographic keys to secure data during transmission or storage. Phishing is a social engineering attack in which attackers impersonate a legitimate entity to trick individuals into revealing sensitive information such as login credentials or financial details. Vulnerability is a weakness or flaw in a system, application, or configuration that can be exploited by attackers to gain unauthorized access or perform malicious actions. Network security is ensuring the security of data during transmission of networks. This involves protocols like VPNs, that is virtual private networks, and secure communication channels. Endpoint security is protecting individual devices, which are endpoints such as computers, smartphones, and tablets. This includes antivirus software, endpoint detection and response (EDR) systems, and device management policies. We go to security policies and procedures is establishing rules and guidelines for maintaining security, including password policies, incident response plans, and security awareness training. Vulnerability assessment and patch management. Regularly identifying is a process of regularly identifying and addressing vulnerabilities in software and hardware to prevent exploitation by attackers. Secure software development is a process of incorporating security principles into the software development process to create applications that are less susceptible to vulnerabilities and attacks. Physical security is a process of protecting physical access to computer systems and data centers through measures like access control systems, surveillance, and environmental controls, e.g., fire suppression systems. Security auditing and monitoring is a process of continuously monitoring systems and networks for security breaches, unusual activities, and compliance with security policies. Incident response and forensics is a process of developing procedures for responding to security incidents, investigating breaches, and preserving evidence for legal purposes. Security awareness and training, educating users and employees about security, best practices, and potential threats to raise awareness and reduce security attacks. Legal and ethical consideration is a process of ensuring compliance with laws and regulations related to computer security and ethical practices in handling sensitive data. Patch is a software update or fix released by a vendor to address security vulnerabilities or improve the stability and functionality of a program or operating system. Next, we're going to talk about denial of service. It's an attack that aims to overwhelm a network, service, or website with excessive traffic, making it unavailable to users. Distributed denial of service, DDoS, attacks involve multiple compromised devices. Next is zero-day vulnerability. It's a security vulnerability that is unknown to the software vendor and has not yet been patched. Attackers may exploit zero-day vulnerabilities before they are discovered and fixed. Penetration testing or pen testing is a controlled and authorized process of assessing the security of a system or network by simulating real-world attacks to identify vulnerabilities and weaknesses. Social engineering is the process of manipulating individuals or employees through psychological tactics to gain access to confidential information or perform unauthorized actions. Security policy is a documented set of rules, guidelines, and procedures that define an organization's approach to security, including access control, data protection, and incident response. Biometrics are authentication methods based on unique biological or physical characteristics such as fingerprints, iris scans, or facial recognition. Multi-factor authentication, MFA, an authentication method that requires users to provide two or more forms of identification before granting access, enhancing security beyond a single password. Data breach is an unauthorized access, acquisition, or disclosure of sensitive or confidential data. Data breaches can result in the exposure of personal information, financial loss, and reputational damage. Cybersecurity is a practice of protecting computer systems, networks, and data from cyber threats, including attacks, breaches, and unauthorized access. These terms represent a portion of the extensive vocabulary used in computer security. Understanding these concepts is essential for individuals and organizations to establish effective security measures and protect against evolving security threats. Computer security is an ongoing and evolving field as new threats and vulnerabilities emerge regularly. It plays a critical role in protecting individuals, organizations, and governments from cyber attacks, data breaches, and other security risks that could have significant consequences. As technology continues to advance, computer security professionals must stay vigilant and adapt their strategies to address emerging threats effectively. We have three main principles of information security, commonly abbreviated as CIA, to mean confidentiality, integrity, and availability. These can also be symbolized as fundamentals of computer security. So you're going to tackle each one of them. We're going to define them and categorize them. The first one is confidentiality. It refers to the protection of sensitive information from unauthorized access or disclosure. It ensures that only authorized individuals or entities can access and view confidential data. Confidentiality is categorized as one of the three main principles of information security alongside integrity and availability. It is often represented by the abbreviation C in the CIA triad, which stands for confidentiality, integrity, and availability, just as I had already said. Next is integrity, and under integrity, we'll be discussing data integrity and system integrity. Data integrity ensures that data remains accurate, reliable, and consistent throughout its life cycle. It prevents unauthorized or accidental alterations, corruption, or tampering of data. Requires that information and programs are changed only in a specified and authorized manner. Data integrity is another key principle of information security and is represented by the I in the CIA triad. It focuses on protecting data from unauthorized modifications or deletions. System integrity pertains to the protection of the entire computer system, including hardware, software, and data, from unauthorized changes, disruptions, or damage. It ensures that a system functions as intended and it has not been compromised. System integrity aligns closely with the broader concept of data integrity and is essential to maintaining the overall security and reliability of a computer system. It can be considered part of the integrity principle within the CIA triad. Availability ensures that a computer system, network, or data is accessible and operational when needed by authorized users. It involves preventing and mitigating disruptions, downtime, or attacks that can make resources unavailable. Availability is the third principle of the CIA triad, represented by the letter A. It emphasizes the importance of making systems and data accessible and reliable. In summary, data integrity, system integrity, availability, and confidentiality are vital components of computer security. They are often discussed within the framework of the CIA triad, which helps organizations design and implement security measures to protect their digital assets effectively. These principles guide efforts to safeguard data, maintain system reliability, and ensure authorized access while preventing unauthorized access or alterations. Next, we'll be talking about elements of computer security. The first one, computer security should align with the mission of the organization. I'm going to explain, then we'll check on implementation. In each and every element that we will be discussing. So, as I had said, computer security should align with the mission of the organization. Computer security measures should support and align with the overall mission, goals, and objectives of the organization. Security practices should enable the organization to achieve its mission while protecting its assets. Usually, security is secondary. Making profit, providing good service, etc. is primary. Implementation. When implementing security measures, organizations should ensure that security controls and policies are designed to enable rather than hinder the mission. For example, in a healthcare organization, security measures should protect patient data while facilitating efficient healthcare delivery. Next element, computer security is an integral element of sound management. Security should be an integral part of overall management practices, integrated into decision-making processes and supporting by leadership at all levels. Security considerations should be woven into project management, risk management, and strategic planning. Security professionals should collaborate with management to align security measures with business objectives. Computer security should be cost-effective. Security measures should be cost-effective, meaning that they should provide the necessary level of protection without unnecessarily burdening the organization with excessive costs. That is, security policy cost must be less than IT cost. Cost of controls should not exceed expected results. We're going to define direct and indirect costs. Direct costs are things like purchasing, installing, and administering security systems. Indirect costs means security systems can sometimes affect system performance, employee morale, or retraining requirements, and thus some costs have to be spent to ensure everything runs smoothly. Organizations should conduct cost-effective cost-benefit analysis to assess the return on investment for security measures. This ensures that security spending is justified and that resources are allocated efficiently. Computer security have explicit responsibilities. Clearly defined roles and responsibilities related to security are essential to ensure that individuals and teams understand their obligations in safeguarding the organization's assets. Responsibilities may be internal to an organization or may extend across organization boundaries. Implementation. Security responsibilities should be documented in security policies and procedures. Job descriptions and security training should clearly outline the roles and duties of employees, security teams, and management in maintaining security. Computer security requires a comprehensive and integrated approach. Effective computer security requires a comprehensive approach that considers all aspects of security, including technical, administrative, and physical measures. Integration ensures that security measures work together seamlessly. Organizations should integrate security across all layers of their IT infrastructure, policies, and procedures. This approach ensures that security is not treated as an isolated component but as an integral part of the entire ecosystem. Next element, computer security should be periodically reassessed. Security threats and technologies evolve over time. Regular reassessment of security measures and practices is essential to adapt to changing circumstances and emerging threats. Organizations should conduct periodic security assessments, audits, and vulnerability scans. These assessments help identify new risks, evaluate the effectiveness of the existing security controls, and make necessary adjustments to the security posture. Next element, computer security is constrained by societal factors. Computer security is influenced by societal, legal, and ethical factors. Laws, regulations, and cultural norms impact security practices and requirements. Implementations. Organizations must adhere to relevant legal and regulatory frameworks governing data protection, privacy, and cyber security. Awareness of societal and cultural norms is crucial when implementing security practices in diverse contexts. System owners have computer security responsibilities outside their organizations. Security responsibilities often extend beyond an organization's boundaries. System owners and operators must collaborate and share responsibility for securing interconnected systems and data. Organizations should establish clear communication channels and agreement with external partners, vendors, and service providers to ensure that security responsibilities are defined and upheld in collaborative efforts. In conclusion, the 8 fundamental elements of computer security constitute the bedrock upon which organizations build robust and effective security strategies. These elements, when integrated into an organization's practices, create a resilient security posture that safeguards digital assets, data, and security from a multitude of threats and vulnerabilities. By aligning security practices with the organization's mission, making security an integral part of sound management, ensuring cost effectiveness, and explicitly defining responsibilities, organizations lay a strong foundation for security excellence. Furthermore, adopting a comprehensive and integrated approach, periodic reassessment of security measures, acknowledgement of societal factors, and recognition that and the recognition that security responsibilities extend beyond organizational boundaries bolster an organization's ability to adapt to a dynamic threat landscape. In an era where cyber threats are constantly evolving and the value of digital assets is immeasurable, a proactive and holistic approach to computer security is not merely advisable, it is imperative. These elements collectively reinforce the principle that security is not a static goal but an ongoing journey requiring vigilance, adaptability, and a commitment to safeguarding what matters. This holistic approach contributes to a strong security posture that minimizes risk and enhances the organization's ability to achieve its objectives securely. Roles and responsibilities in computer security. Roles and responsibilities in computer security are distributed across various individuals and entities within an organization. These roles ensure that security measures are effectively implemented, monitored, and maintained to protect the organization's digital assets and data. Here's an overview of the roles and responsibilities of key stakeholders in computer security. Senior management. Senior management including the CEO, CIO, and the other top executives, are responsible for establishing the organization's security policies, strategies, and goals. They must provide leadership, allocate resources, and set the tone for a security-conscious culture. We have the computer security management, that is the Chief Information Security Officer. The Chief Information Security Officer or Computer Security Management Team is responsible for overseeing the organization's entire security program. They develop and implement security policies and procedures, conduct risk assessments, and ensure compliance with legal and regulatory requirements. Program and functional managers or application owners. These managers and application owners are responsible for ensuring that security measures are integrated into their respective programs or applications. They oversee security assessments, vulnerability management, and security controls for the systems they manage. Technology providers. Under technology providers, we have three people: managers and technicians, telecommunications, then we have the help desk. Managers and technicians' roles and responsibilities are that within technology providers, they are responsible for designing, implementing, and maintaining secure technology solutions. They ensure that hardware and software configurations are secure, and they respond to security incidents and technical vulnerabilities. Telecommunications teams within technology providers manage and maintain the secure transmission of data over networks. They ensure the confidentiality and integrity of data in transit, implement secure communication protocols, and monitor network traffic for anomalies. Help desk provides technical support to end users and assists with security-related inquiries and issues. They play a critical role in incident response by identifying and reporting security incidents to the appropriate teams. We have supporting organizations, and here we'll be talking about audit, quality assurance, training office, and risk management. Under audit, the audit team assesses compliance with security policies, procedures, and regulatory requirements. They conduct security audits, reviews, and assessments to ensure that security controls are effective and aligned with industry best practices. Quality assurance. The quality assurance team focuses on evaluating the effectiveness of security controls and practices. They identify areas for improvement, perform testing and validation, and ensure that security measures meet the required quality standards. Training office is responsible for educating employees on security best practices, policies, and procedures. They conduct security awareness training, promote a culture of security, and help employees understand their role in safeguarding the organization's assets. Risk management. The risk management teams identify, assess, and mitigate security risk. They analyze potential threats and vulnerabilities, recommend risk mitigation strategies, and help prioritize security investments to protect the organization's interests. We have users, and under users, we'll be talking about users of information and users of systems. Users of information are responsible for handling sensitive data and information securely. They must follow data access policies, protect sensitive information, and report any data breaches or security incidents. Users of systems are responsible for using computer systems and applications in a secure manner. They should adhere to access control policies, practice good password hygiene, and report any system-related security issues or anomalies. These roles and responsibilities ensure that computer security is a collaborative effort, with each role contributing to the organization's overall security posture. Next, we're talking about threats. Threats, in the context of computer security, refer to potential events or circumstances that can exploit vulnerabilities in information systems, leading to a harm or unauthorized access to data. Here are brief notes on threats, including their meaning, classification into internal and external threats, their impact on information system and systems, and their relation to risk analysis. So, let's define threats. Threats are events or conditions that have the potential to harm or compromise the confidentiality, integrity, or availability of information or computer systems. They can be intentional, e.g. cyber attacks, or unintentional, e.g. system failures. Internal threats originate from within the organization and involve employees, contractors, or other individuals with insider access. Examples include employee sabotage, data theft by insiders, or unintentional data breaches. External threats come from outside the organization and are typically carried out by malicious actors who seek unauthorized access or cause harm. Examples include cyber attacks by hackers, viruses, phishing attempts, and denial of service attacks. Impact on information and systems. Threats can have various impacts. Under confidentiality, some threats may result to the unauthorized disclosure of sensitive information. Integrity. Threats can compromise the accuracy and reliability of data and systems. Availability. Certain threats can lead to systems downtime, making resources unavailable to users. The impact may vary based on the nature of the threat and security measures in place. Relation to risk analysis. Threats are a crucial component of risk analysis, which assesses their likelihood and potential impact of various threats. In risk analysis, threats are considered alongside vulnerabilities, which are weaknesses in security, and assets, which are information or resources to protect. The goal of risk analysis is to identify, prioritize, and mitigate risk by assessing the potential harm posed by threats and the likelihood of their occurrence. Understanding and categorizing threats as internal or external helps organizations tailor their security measures and risk mitigation strategies. By conducting comprehensive risk analysis, organizations can make informed decisions about allocating resources to protect against the most significant threats and vulnerabilities. Next, we're going to be talking about various types of threats in computer security. Certainly, let's delve into various threats in computer security, including explanation of each. The first one is errors and omissions. Errors and omissions refer to unintentional mistakes made by individuals in an organization. These can include misconfigurations, software bugs, or data entry errors. Impact: errors and omissions can lead to system vulnerabilities or data breaches if not identified and corrected promptly. Fraud and theft. Fraud and theft include intentional deception or unlawful taking of assets, often for financial gain. This can include identity theft, financial fraud, or unauthorized access to sensitive data. Fraud and theft can result in financial losses, damaged reputation, and legal consequences for both individuals and organizations. Employee sabotage. occurs when an insider intentionally disrupts or damages an organization's system, data, or operations. Motivations may vary, including disgruntlement or personal gain. Employee sabotage can include downtime, data loss, and compromised system integrity. Loss of physical and infrastructure support. Loss of physical support refers to situations where essential infrastructure such as power, cooling, or network connectivity is disrupted. This can result from natural disasters or infrastructure failures. Loss of physical and infrastructure support can lead to system downtime and data loss. Malicious hackers and crackers. Malicious hackers are individuals who gain unauthorized access to computer systems or networks for malicious purposes. The terms hacker and cracker are often used interchangeably, but some distinguish between them based on intent. Types. A hacker can refer to someone with the extensive technical knowledge who explores systems to understand and improve them. That is a white hat. But it can also be used broadly to describe malicious individuals who are known as black hat hackers. A black hat hacker or black hat hackers engage in illegal and malicious activities such as hacking for personal gain or causing harm. White hat hackers are ethical hackers who use the skills to identify and address security vulnerabilities in systems. Gray hat hackers fall in between. They may uncover vulnerabilities without authorization, but do so without malicious intent. So that's the difference between black hat, white hat, and gray hat hacker. Industrial espionage. Industrial espionage involves covertly collecting sensitive information from competing organizations for economic advantage. This can include stealing trade secrets, research data, or proprietary information. The impact is that it can result in financial losses, loss of competitive advantage, and legal ramifications. Malicious code. Malicious code refers to software or scripts designed to harm or compromise systems. Common forms include Trojan horses, viruses, and worms. So I'm going to describe each. Define. Trojan horse appears legitimate but contains hidden malicious code. It often tricks users into executing it, leading to unauthorized access or data theft. Virus. A virus attaches to legitimate programs and spreads when those programs are executed. Viruses can corrupt or destroy data and replicate themselves. Worm. A worm is a self-replicating program that spreads independently across networks, often without user interaction. It can consume network resources and disrupt services. Threats to personal privacy. Threats to personal privacy involve the unauthorized collection, use, or disclosure of individuals' personal information, often for nefarious purposes. The impact is that privacy threats can lead to identity theft, stalking, financial fraud, and loss of personal data. Next, we'll be talking about phishing, which is a type of cyber attack in which attackers impersonate legitimate entities, often through deceptive emails, messages, or websites. The goal is to trick individuals into revealing sensitive information such as login credentials, personal details, or financial information. The impact is that phishing attacks can lead to identity theft, unauthorized access to accounts, financial fraud, and data breaches. Phishing is a prevalent method for delivering malware and compromising security. Attacks in phishing come in various forms, including spear phishing, that is targeted attacks, vishing, which is voice phishing, and smishing, which is SMS phishing. They often rely on social engineering techniques to manipulate users into taking action, such as clicking on malicious links or operating infected attachments. It is essential for individuals and organizations to stay vigilant and employ security awareness training, and email filtering solutions to mitigate the risks associated with phishing. Next, we're talking about social engineering, which involves manipulating individuals to divulge confidential information or perform actions that may compromise security. It relies on psychological manipulation rather than technical means. Social engineering attacks have an impact which can lead to unauthorized access to systems or data, password theft, and financial fraud. Insider threats, those are non-malicious. Not all insider threats are malicious. Some employees or users may inadvertently cause security incidents due to negligence, lack of awareness, and carelessness. The impact is that non-malicious insider actions, such as accidental data deletion or misconfiguration, can result in data loss or system disruptions. Supply chain attacks, which target vulnerabilities in an organization's suppliers or third-party service providers. Attackers compromise a trusted entity to gain access to the target organization systems. The impact is that it can lead to data breaches, compromise of software integrity, and unauthorized access to critical infrastructure. We have zero-day exploits, which target vulnerabilities in software or hardware that are not yet known to the vendor or have not been patched. Attackers take advantage of this gap before a fix is available. Zero-day exploits can result in widespread security breaches, data theft, and system compromise. We have ransomware. It's a type of malicious software that encrypts a victim's data, rendering it inaccessible. Attackers demand a ransom in exchange for the decryption key. Ransomware attacks can lead to data loss, financial losses, and operational disruptions until a ransom is paid or data is recovered. We have pharming. Pharming attacks redirect users to fraudulent websites without their knowledge. Attackers compromise DNS servers or manipulate host files to redirect traffic. Pharming can lead to users unknowingly providing sensitive information to fraudulent websites, resulting in identity theft or financial loss. Advanced persistent threats, that is APTs, are sophisticated long-term cyber attacks that target specific organizations or individuals. Attackers use advanced techniques to maintain unauthorized access and gather intelligence over an extended period. APTs can lead to the theft of sensitive data, espionage, and significant damage to an organization's reputation. These are some of the prominent threats in computer security. Addressing these threats requires a multi-layered approach, including technical safeguards, user awareness, and incident response plans to minimize potential risks and mitigate their impact. Next, we'll be talking about major security controls. So I want you to know that there are three types of security controls. We have management, operational, and technical controls, and I'll briefly explain their meaning, purpose, and examples. Management controls, also known as administrative controls, are policies, procedures, and strategies put in place by senior management to guide and govern the organization's overall security program. They are designed to provide a strategic framework for security. The purpose of management controls are to set the direction, priorities, and high-level objectives for security. They focus on aligning security efforts with the organization's business goals and risk tolerance. Examples of management controls can be security policies, security awareness training programs, risk management frameworks, security governance committees. Operational controls are specific practices, processes, and measures that are implemented and executed by operational or day-to-day personnel to ensure that security policies and procedures are followed consistently. The purpose of operational controls is to translate the high-level security objectives defined by management into actionable procedures and practices. They ensure that security measures are consistently applied. Examples can be access control lists, incident response procedures, backup and recovery processes, change management procedures. Technical controls are technological safeguards and security measurements that are implemented with the IT infrastructure to protect confidentiality, integrity, and availability of data and systems. Technical controls provide the actual defense mechanisms against security threats. They enforce security policies and protect against unauthorized access, data breaches, and other security risks. Examples can be firewalls, encryption, access control mechanisms, intrusion detection systems, and antivirus software. So I'll be delving into the key differences between the three controls. Under scope, management controls focus on strategic planning, policy development, and governance. Operational controls address the day-to-day implementation of security policies and procedures. Technical controls enforce security measures through technology such as software and hardware solutions. Responsibility. Under responsibility, management controls primarily are the responsibility of senior management and governance committees. Operational controls are executed by operational personnel and security teams. Technical controls are implemented and maintained by IT and security professionals. Examples, level of abstraction. Management controls are high-level, strategic, and non-technical. Operational controls are intermediate level, translating strategy into practice. Technical controls are detailed, technical, and directly related to specific security mechanisms. Examples of which: management controls examples are security policies, risk assessment, security awareness training. Operational controls include access control procedures, incident response plans, data backup processes. Technical controls include firewalls, encryption algorithms, and antivirus software. Impact on security. Management controls set the direction and overall security posture. Operational controls ensure consistent adherence to security policies. Technical controls provide the actual security mechanisms and protection. In practice, a comprehensive security strategy includes elements from all three control categories. Effective security requires management strategic direction, consistent operational practices, and the implementation of appropriate technical safeguards to mitigate risks and protect against threats. So I'll be going deep into each one of the three controls, and I'm going to start with management controls. Under management controls, we have computer security policy, issue-specific policy, system-specific policy, and risk management. I'm going to tackle each and every one of them at length. Let's start with computer security policy. It's a foundational element of management controls within an organization's information security framework. It is a formal document that outlines the principles, rules, and guidelines governing the organization's approach to information security. The computer security policy serves as a strategic document that sets the direction for security efforts and ensures alignment with the organization's business goals and risk tolerance. Policy. So I'm going to explain the meaning of policy, program policy, like that. These are the terms that are used in computer security policy. So the meaning of a policy is a formal document that articulates an organization's high-level objectives, principles, rules, and guidelines related to a specific area, such as computer security. Policies provide a framework for decision-making and set the direction for organizational behavior in that area. The importance of policies is that policies serve as a foundation for shaping the organization's culture, practices, and procedures. They help in ensuring that actions and decisions align with the organization's goals, legal requirements, and risk management strategy. I'm going to explain the meaning of program policy. We've already seen the meaning of policy and its importance. A program policy, often referred to as an overarching policy or program level policy, is a security policy that applies to an entire program or initiative within an organization. It provides strategic guidance and principles for managing security within that program. Purpose. Program policies serve as a high-level framework that governs the implementation of specific security controls and policies within a particular initiative. They help ensure consistency and alignment with the organization's overall security strategy. Program policy examples. Program policies can exist for various security initiatives such as security awareness and training program policy that sets the tone for all security training efforts across the organization. To provide further context, consider an example. So this is an example of a program policy, which is security awareness and training program policy. So the policy here is the organization establishes a security awareness and training program policy to ensure that employees and authorized users receive adequate training and education on security best practices. The common components here are the purpose. The purpose of this program policy is to create a security-conscious culture within the organization by promoting awareness of security risks, and providing training to mitigate those risks. Scope. This policy applies to all employees, contractors, and third-party stakeholders who have access to the organization's information systems and data. It encompasses all aspects of security training and awareness efforts. Responsibilities. The Chief Information Security Officer is responsible for overseeing the program's implementations. Individual department heads are responsible for ensuring that their teams participate in required training. Compliance. Non-compliance with the program policy may result in mandatory training for individuals who have not completed the required security awareness and training modules. In this example, the Security Awareness and Training Program Policy serves as a program-level policy that provides strategic direction for the organization's security training efforts, ensuring that all employees receive the necessary education to protect against security threats. So here are the components of a computer security policy. The first component is purpose. The purpose component of a computer security policy defines the overarching goal and objective of the policy. It clarifies why the policy is being established and what it aims to achieve in terms of protecting the organization's information assets. The importance is defining the purpose ensures that the policy serves a specific strategic function within the organization. It provides a clear statement of the policy's intended outcomes and its contribution to overall security. Scope. The scope component specifies the boundaries and applicability of the policy. It outlines where and to what extent the policy is to be applied within the organization. The importance is that scope defines the extent to which the policy's provisions are relevant. It helps in determining which systems, hardware, software, information processes, and personnel fall within the policy's purview and which areas are exempt or are exempted. Responsibilities. The responsibilities component identifies the individual's roles or departments responsible for various aspects of the policy, including implementation, enforcement, monitoring, and reporting. Importance. Clearly defined responsibilities ensure accountability for compliance with the policy. It specifies who is accountable for specific security measures and actions, preventing ambiguity. Compliance is the compliance component outlines the consequences or actions that will be taken in the event of non-compliance with the policy. It specifies the sanctions or corrective measures that may be applied when violations occur. The importance is that compliance measures provide a mechanism for enforcing the policy's provisions. Knowing the consequences of non-compliance encourages adherence to security rules and practices. So I'm going to give an example of components of computer security. To illustrate these components, let's consider an example of a password policy within an organization. So the purpose of the password policy is to ensure the confidentiality and integrity of user accounts and data by establishing guidelines for creating, managing, and protecting passwords. It aims to reduce the risk of unauthorized access due to weak or compromised passwords. Scope. This policy applies to all employees, contractors, and third-party users who access the organization's system and data. It covers all user accounts, passwords used for authentication within the organization. Responsibilities. The IT department is responsible for implementing and managing the technical aspects of the policy, including password complexity requirements and password storage. Users are responsible for creating and maintaining secure passwords in accordance with the policy. Compliance. Non-compliance with the password policy may result in actions such as password resets, account suspension, or disciplinary measures, depending on the severity of the violation. By incorporating these components into a computer security policy, organizations can provide clear guidance on security expectations, promote adherence to best practices, and establish a framework for managing security risks effectively. So, we are done with computer security policy. We move to issue-specific policy. It's a type of computer security policy that focuses on addressing a specific security concern, issue, or aspect within an organization. These policies are designed to provide detailed guidance and rules for managing a particular security-related topic or challenge. Issue-specific policies serve to clarify expectations, define acceptable behavior, and outline consequences for non-compliance. Difference between program policies and issue-specific policies. Program policies are often overarching high-level policies that set the strategic direction for a specific security program or initiative within an organization. These policies establish the framework principles and overall approach to managing security within that program. Because program policies are designed to provide a long-term strategic guidance, they tend to remain relatively stable over time. They are less likely to undergo frequent revisions unless there are significant changes in the organization's strategic objectives or overall security posture. Examples of program policies might include information security program policy or security awareness and training program policy. These policies are focused on the broader aspects of security and are less sensitive to short-term changes. Issue-specific policies. Issue-specific policies, on the other hand, are tailored to address specific security concerns, challenges, or emerging issues within the organization. These policies delve into detailed guidelines and rules related to a specific security issue. Issue-specific policies are more dynamic and prone to frequent revisions. This is because security threats, technologies, and business practices are constantly evolving. New security risks emerge, and organizations need to adapt their policies to address these emerging threats. Examples of issue-specific policies might include policies related to internet access, data classification, remote work, or user authentication for specific systems. These policies are subject to frequent updates to ensure they remain effective and relevant in the face of changing circumstances. Examples of frequent revisions for issue-specific policies. We have Internet access policy. As new types of threats and vulnerabilities arise, the organization may need to update its internet access policy to address these specific risks. For example, the policy may need to be revised to include guidelines on safe browsing practices or the use of secure VPN connections. We have user authentication policy for internet-connected systems. The methods and technologies for user authentication evolve over time. To enhance security, organizations may revise their authentication policies to incorporate multi-factor authentication or adapt to new authentication standards. Network security policy. With advancement in network technologies and the increased complexity of cyber threats, network security policies often require regular updates. New firewall rules, intrusion detection measures, and access controls may need to be introduced to bolster network security. In summary, program policies provide long-term strategic guidance and remain relatively stable, while issue-specific policies require more frequent revision to address evolving security concerns and technological advancement. The frequency of policy revisions should align with the pace of change in the specific areas they address to ensure that security measures remain effective and up to date. let's explore the components of issue-specific policies and the responsibilities of managers in defining and enforcing them. Let's talk about components of an issue-specific policy. The first one is issue definition with conditions. Managers must define the specific issue or security concern that the policy addresses. This definition should include any relevant conditions or scenarios that apply to the issue. For example, if the issue is related to data access, conditions must include different levels of access based on roles. Organization's position. The policy should clearly state the organization's position regarding the addressed issue. This includes the organization's stance on what is acceptable or unacceptable behavior in relation to the issue. Scope of application. Clarify where, how, when, to whom, and to what extent the policy applies. Specify the systems, processes, resources, and the personnel that fall within the scope of the policy. This helps readers understand the policy's boundaries. Responsibilities. Define the responsibilities of individuals, departments, or teams in relation to the addressed issue. Specify who is responsible for implementing, enforcing, and complying with the policy. This should include roles and tasks related to the issue. Penalties and consequences. Explicitly state the penalties or consequences that may be imposed in the event of non-compliance with the policy. Ensure that these penalties align with the organization's personnel, policies, and practices. Penalties should be fair and consistent. Contact information. Provide contact information for individuals or positions within the organization that can be contacted for further information or clarification regarding the policy. This ensures that employees have a resource to turn to if they have questions or need guidance. By incorporating these components into your issue-specific policy, you create a comprehensive document that not only defines the issue and sets expectations, but also provides clear guidance on who is responsible, what actions may be taken in case of non-compliance, and where to seek additional information or assistance. This helps ensure that the policy is well understood and effectively implemented within the organization. We move to the third part under management controls is system-specific policy. We have tackled computer security policy. We have tackled issue-specific policy. Now we are in system-specific policies. All these are under management controls. System-specific policy is a specialized type of computer security policy that focuses on a particular information system or application within an organization. Unlike program policies, which provide high-level guidance for entire security programs, and issue-specific policies, which address specific security concerns, system-specific policies are much more targeted and tailored. Here are some key characteristics and considerations related to specific system-specific policies. Focus on a single system. System-specific policies are designed to address the security requirements, guidelines, and rules for a single information system or application. They are highly specific and directly relate to the unique attributes and functions of that system, accompanied by implementation procedures and guidelines. In addition to the policy itself, system-specific policies are often accompanied by detailed implementation procedures and guidelines. These documents provide step-by-step instructions on how to configure, manage, and secure the particular system. Two-level model, security objectives and operational rules. System-specific policies typically follow a two-level model that includes security objectives. These objectives define the specific security goals and outcomes that the system must achieve. They provide a clear understanding of what the system should protect and why. Operational security rules. These rules outline the practical measures and guidelines for operating the system securely. They specify who can perform specific actions within the system and under what conditions. Concrete definition of security objectives. Security objectives within a system-specific policy should be defined concretely to leave no room for ambiguity. For example, objectives might Specify which users or departments are authorized to access particular data or functionalities. Granular control over system operations. System-specific policies are known for providing granular control over system operations. They detail who can perform what actions within the system and often include access control rules, authentication requirements, and data handling procedures. Examples: security objective: only individuals in the accounting and personnel departments are authorized to provide or modify information used in payroll processing. This objective clearly defines who has access to critical payroll data. Operational security rule: personnel clerks may update fields for weekly attendance, charges to annual leave, employee addresses, and phone numbers. This rule specifies the authorized actions personnel clerks can perform within the system. Implementation in practice: system-specific policies are essential for maintaining the security and integrity of critical systems. They are implemented in practice through access control, user permissions, authentication mechanisms, auditing, and ongoing monitoring of system activities. Alignment with organizational policies. While system-specific policies are highly focused, they should align with broader organizational security policies, program policies, and legal requirements to ensure consistency and compliance. System-specific policies may play a crucial role in safeguarding the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of specific information systems. They provide detailed instructions and rules for system administrators and users to follow, ensuring that the system operates securely and in accordance with organizational security standards. The fourth part, under management controls, we have risk management. Risk management in computer security involves identifying, assessing, and mitigating risks that arise from an organizational use of information technology. It's a crucial process for safeguarding an organization's digital assets and ensuring the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of information systems. Let's delve into the key concepts related to computer security risk management. So we're going to define risk. Risk is the possibility of something adverse happening. In the context of computer security, risk refers to the potential harm or negative impact that can result from vulnerabilities or threats to information systems. Risk management process. Risk management is a systematic process of identifying, assessing, and mitigating risks to reduce them to an acceptable level and maintaining that level of risk. Objective. The primary objective of risk management in computer security is to protect the organization's digital assets and sensitive information from potential threats and vulnerabilities. Business decision making. Risk management is closely tied to business decision making. For example, business often face investment decisions that involve a trade-off between aggressive, high-risk, and slow-growth, secure investment plans. Such decisions require a thorough analysis of risk, and it's the responsibility of management to make informed choices based on this analysis. Inherent risk. There is always inherent risk in any organization, whether it's related to trusted employees, natural disasters like fires, or other unforeseen events. Computer security risk management aims to identify and address these risks proactively. So we're going to talk about risk management comprising of three main activities. So the first one is risk assessment. We're going to go deep into risk assessment, which is the first main activity of risk management. So risk assessment is a process of identifying and analyzing risks. It involves determining the scope and methodology of the assessment, collecting and analyzing relevant data, and interpreting the results of the risk analysis. So the first step we should do is determining the scope and methodology. First, under this, you need to identify the system or part of the system. Begin by identifying the specific information system, process, or component within your organization that will be the focus of risk assessment. This could be an active network, a critical application, a data center, or any other relevant part of your infrastructure. So these are the steps in risk assessment. Choose the analytical method. Select the analytical method that will be used to assess risk. This includes determining the level of detail and formality that will be applied to the assessment. Different situations may call for different methodologies, ranging from informal assessments to highly formalized approaches. Varying levels of detail. Recognize that different parts of the system or organization may require varying levels of detail in risk analysis. For example, you may decide to conduct a more detailed analysis of core financial systems compared to less critical systems. Essential systems require thorough analysis. Understand the more essential a system is to your organization's operation, the more thorough and comprehensive the risk analysis should be. Critical systems that, if compromised, could significantly impact business operations or data security should receive the highest level of attention. Defining scope and boundaries. Clearly define the scope and boundaries of the risk assessment. This includes specifying what is included and what is excluded from the assessment. Defining these boundaries is crucial to ensuring that the assessment remains manageable, cost-effective, and focused on the most critical areas. Consider cost effectiveness. Balancing thoroughness with cost effectiveness is essential. While it's important to conduct a comprehensive risk analysis for critical systems, it's equally important to ensure that the assessment aligns with available resources and budget constraints. Repeat for clarity. Repeating the process of identifying the system, selecting the analytical method, and defining scope and boundaries ensures clarity and alignment with organizational goals and constraints. By carefully addressing these considerations, organizations can tailor their risk assessment to specific needs and objectives. This approach helps in prioritizing resources, identifying vulnerabilities, and making informed decisions about risk management strategies. So under risk assessment, we have collecting and analyzing relevant data. Here I'm going to talk about components of risk. Risk has various components including assets, threats, vulnerabilities, safeguards, consequences, and likelihood. Gathering data related to these components is crucial for conducting a comprehensive risk assessment. The first one we're going to discuss asset valuation. Assess the value of assets, which can include information, software, personnel, hardware, and physical assets. Valuation considers both the intrinsic value of the asset and the potential short-term and long-term impacts if this asset is compromised. Consequence assessment. Estimate the potential harm or loss that could result from a security incident. Consequences may include data disclosure, unauthorized modification, denial of service, damage to reputation, loss of business, and more. Threat identification. Identify and analyze potential threats, which are entities or events with the potential to harm the system or assets, understanding the likelihood of threats and their potential impact. Safeguard analysis. So all these are the process of collecting and analyzing relevant data, the steps. Safeguard analysis evaluates the effectiveness of existing security measures or safeguards in mitigating identified threats and vulnerabilities. This analysis assesses whether the safeguards adequately reduce system vulnerability. Vulnerability analysis. Identify and assess vulnerabilities, which are weaknesses in security procedures, technical controls, or other aspects which could be exploited by a threat. Vulnerabilities are often examined in terms of missing safeguards. Likelihood assessment. Estimate the likelihood or probability of threats occurring. This assessment considers the presence and strength of threats and evaluates the effectiveness of existing safeguards. Next, I'm going to talk about screening in risk assessment. In the context of risk assessment and data collection, screening refers to the process of selectively collecting and analyzing data to identify specific information that is relevant to the assessment of risk. This selective approach helps in efficiently focusing resources and efforts on gathering data that is most pertinent to the assessment while excluding irrelevant or extraneous information. Here's how screening is typically applied in the context of data collection for risk assessment. So, defining criteria. Before collecting data, risk assessors establish specific criteria or parameters that are relevant to the assessment. These criteria are based on the goals of risk assessment and the types of risk being evaluated. Criteria may include factors such as assets, threats, vulnerabilities, consequences, likelihood, and safeguards. Identification of relevant data is next. Once the criteria are identified, the next step is to identify sources of data and information that may contain relevant data points related to the established criteria. This can involve identifying data repositories, documents, databases, or individuals who may possess relevant information. Screening for relevance. During the data collection process, the screening phase includes reviewing and evaluating data sources to determine the relevance of the data they contain. Data that aligns with the established criteria is retained for further analysis, while data that do not meet the criteria is excluded. Efficient data collection. By employing screening, risk assessors can avoid the unnecessary collection of vast amounts of data that may not be directly related to the risk assessment. This efficient approach helps in optimizing the use of resources and reducing time and effort required for data collection. Focus on critical information. Screening ensures that the assessment team focuses on critical information that has the most significant impact on the assessment's outcomes. It helps in prioritizing data sources and in elements that are essential for understanding and managing risks. Quality control. Screening also serves as a quality control mechanism to ensure that the data collected is of high quality and relevance. It helps in preventing the inclusion of irrelevant or outdated information that could lead to inaccurate risk assessments. Iterative process. Data screening is often an iterative process, meaning that as the assessment progresses and more information becomes available, further screening may be necessary to refine the data set and include newly identified sources of relevant data. In summary, screening in data collection for risk assessment involves systematically evaluating data sources to identify and collect information that aligns with predefined criteria. This selective approach helps in streamlining the data collection process, ensuring the quality of data, and focusing on the most critical aspects of risk assessment. The third part under risk assessment is interpreting the results of the risk analysis. Risk analysis results are typically represented in both quantitative and qualitative formats. Quantitative measures. These measures provide a numerical representation of risks such as reduced expected monetary losses. Quantitative assessments allow for more precise risk calculations. Qualitative measures. Qualitative assessments use descriptive terms like high, medium, or low to characterize risk severity. Some organizations use a scale of e.g. 1 to 10 to assign risk levels. Interpretation involves evaluating the risk analysis results to prioritize risks, determine the adequacy of current safeguards, and make informed decisions about risk treatment and mitigation strategies. Effective risk assessment is essential for organizations to make informed decisions about security, measures, and resource allocation. It helps organizations understand their exposure to risks and vulnerabilities, enabling them to implement appropriate safeguards and reduce the potential impact of security incidents. We have come to the end of risk assessment, and next we move to risk mitigation, which is the next main activity of risk management. So risk mitigation. After identifying risks, organizations take steps to reduce them to an acceptable level. This can involve implementing security controls, policies, and procedures to mitigate vulnerabilities and threats. risk mitigation, we're going to be talking about method of selecting safeguards and use of what-if analysis. Risk mitigation involves selecting and implementing safeguards to reduce or control the identified risks. A common method for choosing the most suitable safeguards is conducting a what-if analysis. This analysis helps assess the impact of various safeguard options on factors like costs, effectiveness, and other relevant considerations. Here's how the what-if analysis works. Identify the risk. That is the first thing you're supposed to do. Start by clearly defining the specific risk or risks you may aim to mitigate. This should include a detailed understanding of the potential consequences and likelihood of the risk occurring. Next, you're supposed to list possible safeguards. Create a list of potential safeguards or countermeasures that could address the identified risk. Safeguards can vary widely, from technical controls like firewalls to policy changes like password requirements. Then you evaluate each safeguard. For each safeguard on your list, consider its potential impact on the risk as well as other factors such as cost, implementation complexity, and operational implications. Conduct what-if scenarios. Perform what-if scenarios to test the effects of implementing each safeguard. This involves assessing how each safeguard would influence the risk, likelihood, and consequences. Then you assess cost and resources. Consider financial and resource implications of implementing each safeguard. This includes direct costs, e.g., purchasing security software, and indirect costs, e.g., increased staff training. Thereafter, evaluate effectiveness. Determine how effective each safeguard is in reducing the risk. Will it completely eliminate the risk, reduce it to an acceptable level, or merely mitigate some aspects of the risk? Then you consider trade-offs. Recognize that there may be trade-offs involved. Some safeguards may be highly effective but costly, while others may be less effective but more budget-friendly. Balance these trade-offs based on your organization's priorities. Assess operational impact after that. Analyze how each safeguard might affect daily operations and workflow. Some safeguards may introduce operational challenges or require changes in employee behavior or practices. Select the optimal safeguard. After evaluating all safeguards and considering their impact on cost, effectiveness, and other relevant factors, choose the safeguard that strikes the best balance for your organization's risk mitigation strategy. The last one is you're supposed to implement and monitor. Once you've selected a safeguard, implement it within your organization's security framework. Continuously monitor its effectiveness and be prepared to adjust your mitigation strategy if needed. By employing a what-if analysis, organizations can make informed decisions about which safeguards to implement based on a comprehensive assessment of risk reduction, costs, operational impact, and other critical factors. This approach helps ensure that resources are allocated efficiently and that their chosen safeguards align with the organization's risk management objectives. Uncertainty analysis. Uncertainty analysis is a fundamental aspect of risk management. So we have looked at risk assessment, we have dealt with risk mitigation, and the third one is uncertainty analysis, which you're looking at right now. It is essential for understanding and mitigating the potential impact of unpredictable events on an organization's security posture and objectives. In the complex landscape of risk management, decision makers often must rely on speculation, best guesses, incomplete data, and numerous unproven assumptions. Uncertainty analysis helps organizations mitigate this terrain by acknowledging and quantifying uncertainties. Here's a comprehensive overview. You're supposed to identifying uncertainty. Uncertainties can stem from various sources, including evolving threats, technological advancements, regulatory changes, or unforeseen occurrence. The initial step in uncertainty analysis is identifying areas within the risk landscape where uncertainty exists. Quantifying uncertainty. Quantification is key to to understanding uncertainty. It involves assessing the likelihood and potential impact of uncertain events. Organizations may employ probability distributions, historical data, expert opinions, or medical or modeling techniques to quantify uncertainty. Then we have scenario planning, which is a valuable technique within uncertainty analysis. It entails creating different scenarios or what-if situations that depict potential outcomes of uncertain events. These scenarios provide visualizations of the range of possibilities. Sensitivity analysis. Sensitivity analysis helps organizations grasp how changes in certain variables or parameters influence the overall risk assessment. It identifies which uncertainties wield the most significant impact on results, enabling focused mitigation efforts. Risk tolerance. Defining risk tolerance levels is imperative. These levels represent an organization's acceptable threshold for uncertainty. They guide decision making, helping organizations assess whether particular risks fall within acceptable bounds or necessitate further mitigation. Risk response strategies. Based on uncertainty analysis outcomes, organizations formulate tailored risk response strategies. These strategies encompass contingency plans, adaptable measures, or flexible security controls that can be adjusted in response to evolving conditions. Monitoring and adaptation. Uncertainty analysis is an ongoing, evolving process. Continuous monitoring and reassessment of uncertainties are crucial as the risk landscape shifts. Routine updates to risk assessment and response strategies ensure ongoing resilience and preparedness. We have communication. Effective communication of uncertainty and its potential impact is essential. Sharing findings and insights from uncertainty analysis with stakeholders, including decision makers, empowers them to make well-informed choices. Decision support. The insights gleaned from uncertainty analysis serve as vital decision support tools. They aid organizations in making informed decisions about risk management strategies, resource allocation, and readiness for uncertain events. Sources of uncertainty. Risk management often relies on speculation, best guesses, incomplete data, and unproven assumptions. Sources of uncertainty can include a lack of confidence or precision in risk management model or insufficient information to determine the exact values of elements within the risk model. Uncertainty analysis is a proactive approach that acknowledges and prepares for the unknown. By quantifying the uncertainty, organizations are better equipped to anticipate and respond to unexpected events, enhancing their overall resilience and security posture. We now move to operational controls that we have handled these management controls. So operational control, we're going to talk about personnel issues in computer security. Operational controls related to personal issues play a crucial role in ensuring the security of an organization's information system. These controls encompass various aspects of managing staff, from defining positions to providing training and raising awareness. Here are the key components. Position definition. If in the process of defining positions within the organization, it's essential to identify and integrate security-related responsibilities and issues associated with each role. This ensures that security is an integral part of job descriptions and expectations. Separation of duties. Implementing the principle of separation of duties is a fundamental security measure. It involves ensuring that critical tasks such as initiating and authorizing financial transactions are performed by different individuals or roles. This minimizes the risk of unauthorized or fraudulent activities. Least privilege. The principle of least privilege dictates that individuals should have access only to the resources and data necessary for their job functions. Access management controls are employed to enforce this principle, reducing the potential for misuse or unauthorized access. Determining position sensitivity. Position sensitivity assessment involves evaluating the level of sensitivity associated with specific roles within the organization. Factors considered include the potential harm caused by security breaches, such as disclosure of private information, interruption of critical processes, or computer fraud. This assessment informs security measures tailored to different positions. Filling the position. Once positions are defined and their sensitivity is assessed, the staffing process begins. This involves identifying suitable candidates who meet the position requirements, including skills, qualifications, and security clearances. Screening process. The screening process for prospective employees is a critical control point. Background checks, reference checks, and security clearances are conducted to ensure that candidates have a clean history and are trustworthy. This helps mitigate insider threats. Training and awareness. Even after hiring, employees must be continuously trained to perform their job functions securely. Training includes educating staff about their computer security responsibilities and duties, emphasizing the importance of security practices. Operational control. Awareness, training, and education. Improving awareness of the need to protect system resources is a vital part of operational control. This involves educating employees about the significance of safeguarding information assets, developing skills and knowledge to empower computer users to perform their roles securely, building in-depth knowledge as needed to design, implement, or operate security programs for organizations and systems effectively. These operational controls ensure that personnel are not only well prepared to perform their duties securely, but also understand the broader context of information security within the organization. By integrating security into the personnel management process, organizations strengthen their overall security posture and reduce risk of security breaches. Here's an example of illustrating the components of awareness, training, and education in the context of operational control for security, computer security. So the attribute here is security awareness. The level is entry-level employee, like those who are like beginners. Objective is to ensure that all entry-level employees understand the importance of protecting sensitive customer data and can identify and report potential security threats. The teaching method is interactive online course. Test measure is successful completion of an online assessment at the end of the course. The impact timeframe is immediate and ongoing. The scenario should include attribute which is security awareness. Level should include entry-level employees, and the objective. So the attribute is security awareness, as I've said. Level is entry-level employees. Objective is to ensure that all entry employees understand the importance of protecting sensitive customer data and can identify and report potential security threats. The teaching method. An interactive online course will be developed covering key topics such as data protection, password security, and recognizing phishing attempts. The course will include videos, quizzes, and real-world scenarios to engage learners effectively. Test measure. At the end of the online course, employees will be required to complete a comprehensive assessment to evaluate their knowledge. The assessment will consist of multiple choice questions and practical scenarios. Impact time frame should be immediate. Upon completion of the course, employees will have a basic understanding of security principle. Ongoing is that regular security reminders and updates will be provided to reinforce awareness and knowledge. Employees will receive monthly security newsletters and participate in simulated phishing exercises to continually improve their security vigilance. In this example, the attribute is security awareness and the focus is on entry-level employees. The objective is to ensure that these employees understand the importance of security and can recognize potential threats. The teaching method is an interactive online course, and the test measure is the successful completion of an assessment. The impact timeframe includes immediate knowledge acquisition and ongoing reinforcement to maintain security awareness over time. Next, we move to operational control, and we're going to be talking about, under this one, computer support and operations. Operational control in computer support and operations is crucial for maintaining the efficiency, reliability, and security of an organization's IT infrastructure. This control area encompasses various aspects of managing computer security, computer systems, and providing technical support. Here are key components: incident management. Incident management procedures are put in place to promptly identify, report, and respond to security incidents or technical issues. These include establishing protocols for incident reporting, escalation, and resolution. Change management. Change management controls ensure that any modifications to the IT environment, such as software updates, patches, or configuration changes, are carefully planned, documented, and tested to prevent disruptions and security vulnerabilities. System monitoring. Continuous monitoring of computer systems and network traffic is essential for detecting anomalies, potential security breaches, or performance issues. Monitoring tools and practices are implemented to ensure system health. Patch management. Patch management involves the systematic application of software updates and security patches to address known vulnerabilities. Timely patching is critical to protect systems from exploitation. Backup and recovery. Robust backup and recovery procedures are established to safeguard data and ensure business continuity in the event of data loss or system failures. Regular backups, testing, and disaster recovery plans are part of these controls. Access control. Access controls are implemented to manage user access to computer systems and data. This includes user authentication, authorization, and audit trail mechanisms to enforce security policies. Inventory and asset management. Keeping an accurate inventory of hardware and software assets is essential. These controls ensure that all assets are tracked, maintained, and accounted for, reducing the risk of unauthorized or unmanaged devices. Vulnerability scanning. Vulnerability scanning tools are used to regularly assess the security of systems and networks. Identified vulnerabilities are addressed promptly to mitigate potential risks. Capacity planning involves assessing correct and future resource needs to ensure that computer systems can handle anticipated workloads and growth. It prevents performance bottlenecks. Technical support and help desk. A well-structured technical support and help desk system is established to assist users with technical issues, troubleshoot problems, and provide guidance on security best practices. User training. Users are provided with training guidance on how to use computer systems securely. This includes educating them about potential threats, safe practices, and reporting security incidents. Security incident response. Detailed incident response plans and procedures are developed to address security incidents effectively. These plans include steps for containment, investigation, communication, and recovery. Documentation and reporting. Comprehensive documentation of system configurations, procedures, and incidents is maintained. Regular reports are generated to monitor system performance and security compliance. Operational control in computer support and operations ensure that IT systems are managed effectively, securely, in an alignment with organizational goals. These controls help prevent, detect, and respond to technical issues and security threats, ultimately contributing to the overall stability and resilience of an organization's IT environment. On to the last control, which is technical controls. We're going to talk about identification and entity authentication. Technical controls related to identification and entity authentication are critical components of information security. They provide the means to establish and verify the identity of individuals accessing computer systems or data. Here's an overview of these controls. Identification is a process by which a user provides a claimed identity to the system. It typically involves the user supplying a username, user ID, or other identifier that associates them with the account. entity authentication goes a step further by validating the claimed identity to establish its validity. It ensures that the user is indeed who they claim to be. Authentication is achieved through various methods often involving multi-factor authentication for added security. Authentication factors. Authentication relies on one or more of the following factors to establish identity and enhance security, something the individual knows. This factor involves knowledge possessed by the user, such as a password, personal identification number, which is the PIN, or answers to security questions. Is the most common form of authentication, something the individual possesses. Possession-based authentication requires the user to possess a physical item or token that can be used for verification. Examples include smart cards, security tokens, or mobile authentication apps. Something the individual is biometric authentication. That is, biometric authentication relies on unique physical or behavioral characteristics of the individual, such as fingerprints, facial recognition, iris scans, or voice patterns. Biometrics provide a high level of security due to their uniqueness. Authentication methods. Authentication methods can vary depending on the level of security required and the specific use case. Some common methods include single-factor authentication, which relies on one authentication factor, typically something the individual knows, e.g. a password. While convenient, it is less secure than multi-factor authentication. So multi-factor authentication combines two or more authentication factors to enhance security. For example, a user may need to provide a password, that is a knowledge factor, and use a mobile app position factor to generate a one-time code for authentication. Then we have biometric authentication. Biometric methods such as fingerprint scanning or facial recognition rely on unique physical traits for authentication. They offer a high level of security but may require specialized hardware. Effective technical controls for identification and entity authentication are essential for protecting sensitive data and systems. These controls help ensure that only authorized individuals gain access to resources while mitigating the risk of unauthorized access or identity impersonation. We have come to the end of the topic of principles of computer security. I hope you've learned a lot, you've taken down notes, and see you in the next video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Comment down below any topic you'd want me to cover in the next coming videos, and I'll appreciate and do it for you. See you and have a nice time. Bye.